Hello, Act. Well, we've got Tim Kronfeld here. He's from the North Shore and a guy, from the financial side of life and very successful in that area as well. So I'm interested to know Tim's views on what the next election is likely to pop up with. Tim, welcome anyway. And what's your views for the next election?
Well, I think national. It's national and ACT versus Labor and the Greens. And
what's your prediction?
I'd never listen to these polls, but I would predict a national ACT coalition.
Oh, so Labor's going to go down?
Yeah.
Why?
We are going to enter. I think this will be the toughest year economically, even though that we've got a $4,500 whole milk price.
And taken. He's got a very good handle on finance, this man that we're listening to right now. So let's go for it, Tim. Sorry to interrupt you.
I just think, well, we've got our 10-year rate a year ago was under 1%. We're now knocking 2.85, so we're nearly 3%. So we've had a trebling of the interest rate. That's going to move. We're already seeing the property market ease back. Auction clearance rates are right down, and the share market is down about 8% now from the highs. We're going to see this inflation really start to bite in right across the board. Is
it going to lift, Tim, or is it going to level off at this?
I think it's far from transitory, simply because there's stories of containers waiting out in the Hauraki Gulf for up to 3 or 4 weeks before they can get a berth. Well, shipping companies are just going to pull a pin on New Zealand. And
I believe they already are. Some of them they don't only visit here once a fortnight now because they just can't get into our port.
Yeah, well, I think there's a company chartering ships now as opposed to using containers. We are still a small nation, 6,000 miles away from our markets.
Inflation to go up further?
So inflation will be doggedly high, and that will hurt the bottom end of town.
Will be like more. At election time. You're thinking in next year is the election, isn't it? 23.
Yeah. I would suggest we will have a pretty tough winter here on the domestic scene. We're seeing
financially, you're meaning, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of building in progress, but we've also got a government that does everything to keep boosting inflation, and that's right across what they're doing with the minimum wage, what they're doing with regulations, what they're doing with this employment insurance scheme, or proposing to do. We've seen government charges move up. We've got fuel prices. I'm a diesel. I use diesel, and my cost of running my truck is huge. They've put up the road user charges.
Tim, I mean,
costs right across.
Can you just tell the viewers what background you've got in finance?
I've been in the financial markets since I left university, and I'm currently with Jarden, who took out a firm called OMF that I worked for
what do they
20
do?
years. We're on the derivative side. We do commodities, foreign exchange, and equity derivatives. So I'm involved in.
Wow! So that means Tim every day is exploring our economy. So I mean, you do have the credentials to actually make comment right now, and you've got to predict the economy, wouldn't you, for your investments, for your advice you give to clients?
Yeah, and that's very much. I'm more of the global economy. I don't do too much in the New Zealand market myself per se, but obviously.
Well, let's get onto that then, because let's touch on that with Tim. Where is the global economy about to take a nosedive? Because there's all sorts of terrible predictions. But what's your view?
We've had an extremely, the economies have been quite resilient, and the amount of monetary assistance that's been poured into economies in the last 2 or 3 years has been immense.
Well, let's look at it across an international front. So we've got China, who is not as wealthy as it was. We've got the USA, which have taken a bit of a nosedive under this particular government, or has it? You've got more of a handle on these things, and there's an emerging economy that's coming up that could actually take over and dominate rather than those two.
Yeah, China's got problems in terms of its supply chain and its competitiveness. They've had big COVID lockdowns over there, which has affected their manufacturing output. They have inflation as well, so they have to pass on cost increases. The US economy has been pretty resilient despite the despite the taking away of 2 or 3 areas that Trump was pushing. One was tax and deregulation within that energy space. But the US shale, as oil has now gone from 60, 70, 80, we hit $94, $95 this week. We've pulled back on this easing of the Russian Ukraine situation temporarily, I think, at this stage, because Mr. Putin is cunning as a snake in the grass, as they would say. But that's just a side issue. But saying that, the cost, the energy demand, and these other economies are opening up a lot faster. We're still living under a mushroom in New Zealand.
We've got a way to go too, I believe. So we might be even further.
Well, we're going to be 3, 4, 5 months behind. I've got no confidence. People are losing confidence, and we're going to see quite a big
So, Tim,
immigration.
let me just get back to the international economy, because I'm really listening intently with you, because I'm hearing all sorts of doom and gloom, but I don't hear that from you.
No, the economies are quite. Our trading partners. They need our products. We've got good demand, although we've come off the top in terms of our lumber. But you're saying overall there's not going to be a mass crash or anything from the United States, China, anything like this, Japan or whatever, some of the major financial sectors. I mean, there are a lot of debt out there, though. Those countries haven't they? Like, is it the US have got huge debts, and Japan's another one. But it doesn't seem to worry the economies. No, monetary management is far. Is in an element where they will do things quietly and steadily, and not, and what upsets markets is uncertainty and surprise, and central banks are in the business of calming the waters and being quite transparent in what they want to do. So in the States, their headline inflation hit 7%. We had a PPI out, which is a producer price index, out last night, which was within a notch or two of a record high back in 2010. Wow. Yeah. 9% or 8 point whatever it was. So it's up there. The Fed have been caught, that term is behind the curve, so they'll want to put some credibility in. So there's a 1%. Basically, US rates are
our
at zero.
economy is really reliant right now. It's just leaning heavily onto our farmers and dairy. So if dairy, what's our customers doing? Are they looking buoyant and able to pay prices?
Asia are they're buying our products for sure. We've had strong global dairy auctions for the last month.
Right.
But we've got our carbon, our ETS system has been tightened up considerably. So the price of carbon's gone from $60 to $89.
Wow. So
that's going to come through in prices on the pump. It's going to come through in everything freight, and that's going to be a steady increase.
Freight's really frightening with me, because I believe our ports are a complete mess, particularly Auckland, and it's not getting any better.
Well, 9 years of labour management of a council-controlled organisation, and what do you think we got? There's not a lot of transparency down there. They're trying to hide behind staff shortages and no expertise in driving these cranes.
Well, I understand it was supposed to be automated, but what happened was they had a death down there, so they've said, righto, safety comes first, and then they've just pulled back all the efficiencies of the port, whereupon these visiting ships can't get their ships empty. Right now, every morning, there's at least 3 to 4 ships sitting out here waiting and waiting and waiting. And these ships normally go to a port and get done overnight, and then they leave. But New Zealand has got such a shabby reputation in our ports.
Yeah, it's not.
We've got a new CEO in Auckland, but I don't know. I think he was purchased or put into place because he's going to be a soft touch. But the unions are really running that show. But and of course, health and safety is right up there. Take your time, folks. Just relax. We need everyone to live and go through home tonight. So let's everyone just relax and work half the pace it's allowed. No pressure.
Yeah, I hate that word safe. The cop-out word that everything is because we have to keep everyone safe.
Yeah.
And it's, where's Jerry Collins? We should be handing out the concrete pills.
All right, Tim, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Oh, I just think that hopefully what will go around will come around. We're seeing a government now that's been so self-centred and so controlling, and now we've got a very broad church of protest that's growing, and I think this will be the event of early 22. It'll probably define our political history in terms of what and how they're treating people, and everyone was behind the team of 5 million, so to speak, and get double vaxxed and let's get on and open up. But we've been lied to and now spun out. And I think a lot of people are just sick of listening to the spin. And
all right, well,
they want to move on.
Well, that's
Tim
Kronfeld, folks, and that's this guy's come all the way from the North Shore of Auckland, so he is in the job and he's worth listening to. So we'll get you back some more, Tim.
Thanks, mate.